So how are you? Just in general, how's it going? How's the
I'm
weather?
doing well, man. Weather's beautiful. I moved to Sweden in the summer, which was a good choice.
Nice,
So,
nice.
um, it's been get some adjusting. I am very happy to be here because everything seems like it's photo ready. Like
Right. That's
Stockholm's such a
cool.
beautiful city that I can't turn around without wanting to pull my camera out. And coming from like a much smaller city back in the United States, where I think I photographed every building in Tacoma, the city I'm from, that to have like this whole blank canvas to go shoot is just
Yeah.
awesome.
So it was like I've done that, and now I need to move to somewhere new.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wicked. That's wicked. So tell us a little bit about your photography. Is your photography more of like a hobby, or do you sort of start to consider it as a profession? What you're into, what you like to photograph most? Just give us like a brief rundown.
Right now, my photography is just a hobby. I'd love for it to become a profession later, but I'm kind of in that weird niche of I like to do photographs like urban and architecture,
Mm.
and to kind of market that isn't something that I see often.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
I'd like to
hard.
do something like I've been considering getting into more like product photography or travel. Well, we can't do
Mm.
travel right now because of reasons, but um, I I love buildings and architecture and urban life, nightlife, people walking around. So that's a big thing for me. And then I kind of go with crazy colors on like my Instagram. I'm a lot of blues, like the aquas and
Yeah.
oranges.
Yeah. I
So
had a quick check. Your Instagram profile is looking it's quite cool. It's quite cool.
thank you. I appreciate
It's
that.
got a very interesting vibe. Like it's you kind of keep to this tone, this palette, and it kind of runs throughout. And I like that. I like that about your
And
work.
like if you look at some of my older work, you can see it's kind of like all over the place because I was still trying
Yeah.
to figure out like my own style. And then
Yeah.
like lately, I've been just like pushing hard on these colors that I really enjoy, just seeing if it grabs. And it's more
Yeah.
for me, but kind of get others' opinions is always good.
No, but that's really cool. That's kind of how it starts. Like initially I was in massively into street photography, and I was all about documentary photography, and I'm a landscape photographer. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
this whole
See,
arc. I mean, it's like
and
polar opposites in photography. How can you go from street to landscape? But the
well, see, I
journey
did
it
the
took me.
opposite because when I was in the United States, I was a semi truck driver, so I
Right.
drove cross country all the time. But primarily, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so I
Mm.
was doing landscape photographies when I could. And then the more I spent time at home, or more I spent like right before I moved to Sweden, I started doing a lot more street and urban. And so it's like it's taken that weird shift to the
Yeah.
opposite end of the spectrum.
But to
So
be
I
honest, actually,
completely understand.
that was really cool. I did realize, I sort of reading like your profile on Instagram. I was like, this guy's a truck driver. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he must stop every single section just to take a photograph.
Oh, it was like that for a while before I'd say the last 2 or 3 months of being a truck driver, I was trying to just like drive as fast as I could into the mountains and then just
Right.
take it as slow as possible and pull out every little spot that I could to find a
Yeah.
spot to park my truck, get out and shoot for a little bit, and then get back on the road, go. Which is a huge difference from now I'm in Sweden because I don't have a job at the moment. So it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to wake up at midnight and go shoot in the city.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's a landscape picture. So obviously I was all over it, and it was wicked, and it was really interesting because the cropping of that image was very specific, and it was very different to other ones. It's a photograph. See if I can share the screen. I could show you exactly which one I mean. So it was, you can tell I'm prepared for this. This one.
That one. Yeah,
This is
Elmo,
very
Montana.
interesting. This is very
Yeah.
interesting. Talk about this
That one was a
I
difficult
want to
one
know
to
about
even
this.
shoot
Really?
because to pull because like I had a huge semi truck,
Right.
and the only place you can park that's even near that is you like come up over a hill, and as it starts to come down, it turns at the same time. And if you don't slam on your brakes and get off to the side of the road, you miss this spot.
Oh
And
man.
I tried to remember where this spot was because I was driving, 1,500 miles one way,
Yeah.
and I missed it 3 weeks in a row. And finally on the 4th week, I managed to land this spot. And it's like right outside an old farm. And that's what the stick coming up is. It's an old fence.
Well, that's what I liked about it, because you have something that's so quirky in the middle of the shot. And obviously, I think it really adds character. That's the main reason why I like this image, is because it wouldn't have worked that much without the stick.
Yeah, I agree. Because the place that I had taken that photo originally was maybe, 100 feet in front of there. Like I had hopped the fence and went and got closer.
Yeah.
And I had some kind of trees, but they weren't really close. So I was like, as I'm walking back to the truck, I was like, huh. And I like spent a few minutes, getting set up and getting that shot. And that's probably one of my favorite shots from Montana.
Yeah, it's wicked. It's one of those images where it's kind of like a happy accident. There's so many of those. There's so many so many times where it's completely unplanned and it works, and I guess everything sort of collides and it goes your way and you take a shot and it's great.
I feel like that's like half the times I go out shooting. I'm like, I have this idea, I want to go shoot this building, and it's like either on my walk there or my walk back, I'll like snap a couple photos where I'm like, this might turn out, and that ends up being my favorite photo.
This was also pretty cool as sort of like a structurally sort of interesting shot, because you have something here that's completely out of focus, and usually it's the other way around. You want the element
what's
that's
in
front of the
focus
camera
forward,
in focus. But in this circumstance, in this case, it works, and so does it in this one. And I think the reason why it works so well is because I don't know what color this bridge was, but was it orange or yellow? I'm not quite sure.
It's kind of like an off-white, almost yellow color. It's like that really light concrete color. Yeah.
And these sculptures, are they like what are they, crystals?
That's actually so those are glass. That's right outside a place in Tacoma, Washington, called the Glass Museum.
Nice.
And they have that big structure out in the back where it's a reflective pool, and then you have all that glass, and at night they actually turn lights on. And my goal is to get there to be where the lights hadn't been turned on yet, because I wanted them to be in the shot but not the focus.
Right. That would be so cool if, just as a long exposure, to have the lights on. I'm just picturing it now. That would be wicked.
Oh yeah.
That would be so cool. I was just scrolling through your feed, and obviously architecture is huge.
I love architecture.
Huge.
I love buildings.
You need to check this guy out. His name is Richard Serra. And this guy is a sculpture artist. I'll send you the link. I'll send you a link on Facebook via chat. But this is so cool. This guy's so cool because he creates these huge metal sheets, right? And when he puts them on the ground, when they're laid, however it is that in these structures that he wants them to be, they're not pinned. So they have a potential to collapse. And it's one of those very big health and safety sort of situations that he kind of gets to bypass because he's an artist, right? But as an architect, as a photographer, if you're interested in photographing this, if you ever get the chance to see his work, I think he is American as well. Go
really?
See it, because it's shocking. It's shockingly good. It's so cool.
Yeah, those are insane.
And it's sort of like the most futuristic-y, weird sculptures I've ever seen in my life. And I'd love to go see him. I'd love to go see his work. But I think you should check this guy out just to see if maybe there's ever a show, if you're ever in the US. Give it a shout.
Yeah, because me and my fiance, she was traveling from Sweden to the US a few times a year, and I was traveling this way before I moved. So we're going to be in the US quite a bit.
Do you travel to the US quite often? Obviously, aside from this whole virus thing.
Well, I've actually only been in Sweden for 2 months.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I just recently moved over here.
Oh wow!
But we were when I was still living in the States and my fiance was living here in Sweden. We were traveling back and forth every 2 months before Corona.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's cool. What type of gear do you sort of like? I don't want to be like a gear nut head, but I'm just curious as to what do you own?
See, I'm a gear nut head. I will go and research lenses that I never plan on buying just to know more about them. So, right now I have the Canon EOS R,
Oh man.
The with the not the kit lens, it's the 24 to 105, but it's the L version, so it's
Right,
locked.
right.
It the whole thing is 4.0,
Oh,
which
that
is great.
yeah, that's a serious investment.
And I did that before I moved to Sweden because I made a lot more money as a truck driver than I knew that I would make here, because
Right,
taxes and everything. And then I have my what is that? The connector that makes it so you can fit your EF lens on your RF lens type. And then I have the 50 mil 1.8, Tamron 70 to 200 2.8. I think that's it for now. And then I also have a DJI Mavic Pro drone.
Oh, nice. I kind of wanted to get into drones, but I'm kind of like in the process of updating my equipment because I just updated my zoom lens. I have a Tamron zoom lens, 70 to 300.
70
and
to
it's probably
300.
70 to 300. And well, that's nothing. And it's probably the worst lens I've ever used in my life. It's terrible.
Really? Why is it so bad?
Okay, because I do quite a bit of wildlife photography on the side, and because it has no image stabilization, I find myself
Ooh, there it is.
I find myself struggling. I have to take about 50 shots just to get like maybe 5 in focus. So it's kind of a joke.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big joke. And especially, actually, surprisingly for landscape photography, I didn't think image stabilization was going to be an issue, but I live in a place where there's a lot of wind. So
really?
in order for me to actually get a decent enough long exposure shot, I need a camera that has I need much better specs. So I just bought the Sigma Art Series lens, the 100 to 400.
Ooh.
It set me back.
Have you shot with it yet?
Yeah, I went yesterday with it. It's a beast. It's a beast.
Dude.
It weighs so much.
Oh, I can only imagine. Like even my Tamron 70 to 200 is like almost unwieldy at times. Actually, like the thing's freaking massive. Like the size of my head.
I didn't know
Tamron
did a 70 to 200.
They do for the I think they did the Canon EF. They have one for Sony, Nikon, and I think they even do a Sigma lens. Not Sigma. What's the Fujifilm lens?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's nice.
But I love. I used to shoot with that with my what is that? The Rebel T6i before I upgraded the EOS R.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, with that lens being an EF lens and it's not Canon, it's not compatible with the EF to RF lens mount due to a firmware problem.
Right.
So I actually have this. The reason why it's sitting on my desk is because I have to remember to send it to a company for them to actually open it up, get the chip out, update it, put it back in, and then ship me the lens back so it'll work with the EOS R.
Isn't that like more expensive than just buying a new lens?
No, actually not.
No.
It's going to be like 600 crowns plus shipping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was looking into, because the newer Tamron lenses, you can actually buy, it's almost like a digital lens cap. So it's on the back and you clip it on and you can download the firmware directly, but mine's older. So it's like the model before they started doing that. So I actually have to send mine in, but I should only have to send it in once. I
see what you mean. I need to update my wide angle lens because at the minute, I mean, to be honest, I've got 10 to 18 millimeters, and the reason this was actually the first lens I ever bought, and it's so good, and it's such a cheap lens. It's ridiculous.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, it's shockingly good for a 10 to 18 millimeter.
10 to 18, is that the Canon like
wide
upgraded kit lens?
No, this came out years ago.
So yeah, because with the EF or the Rebel ecosystem, they had the kit lens which was 18 to 55, and they had this like upgrade kit pack that you could buy that came with the 50 1.8, and then I think it was a 10 to 18 ultra wide.
This isn't an ultra wide. It wasn't advertised. It wasn't advertised as an ultra wide. This has an EFS mount.
Okay.
It might be different. What was it? What was it called? Canon. It might be the same. I don't know. 18.
I think it was 18 to 10 to 18. Yeah.
10 to 18.
I used to have this lens. I love that lens for my my Rebel. Unfortunately, my entire camera bag got stolen when I had it, but
Oh, you're
I
joking.
never replaced it.
Oh man.
I had
Yeah, it is this lens.
a handful of lenses, and my camera all got stolen out of my truck when I was. This was maybe 2-3 years ago. Yeah.
So did you used to, when you were obviously doing truck driving, you used to take your gear with you everywhere? Do you like a cross country sort of situation?
Oh yeah, because when like with the job that I had, we lived in the truck for 5 days straight. So you'd be in the truck for 5 days, and then you could go home on the weekends. And for the majority of the time, I didn't actually have an apartment because it didn't make sense financially to pay for a place I was only going to be at like once or twice a month. So I just kept everything in the truck. It made moving to Sweden super easy.
Yeah,
I could
can
literally
imagine.
carry everything on my back.